guess so. We are living through a revolution in rare disease diagnosis. Thanks to genomics, some children are getting answers in days, and even gene therapies. But here's the catch. Most of these breakthroughs are built on DNA from European populations. Africa is home to over 1 billion people and the greatest human genetic diversity on Earth. Yet less than 2% of global genome data comes from African populations. That's not just a gap, it's a crisis. My story starts in a very African context, the infamous Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital in Soweto, where I endured a grueling 2-year internship at the height of South Africa's HIV pandemic. Death was the order of the day. I was burnt out and despondent. So I walked away from clinical medicine, not because I stopped caring, but because I couldn't survive it. In late 2012, I found respite in a molecular biology lab at the University of Cape Town, where I enrolled for a research master's degree. Here I traded death, blood, and broken bodies for the hidden world inside our cells. From the moment I encountered DNA, the 3 billion letter code of life, I was hooked. DNA is the instruction manual for building a human. But like a recipe, a single typo can have serious consequences. That's how rare diseases work. One tiny change in the code, even a single letter, can derail an entire life. Now, trying to find this mistake is like searching for a typo in a library full of books written in a language you don't speak. That's where bioinformatics comes in. It's the science of using computers to search the code, find the mistakes, and then try to figure out what they mean. Bioinformatics, where biology meets data science. It was terrifying leaving clinical medicine for this new field. I was exchanging my stethoscope for computer code, and I was really a complete beginner. So in 2017, I embarked on a bioinformatics training fellowship in Barcelona. I was often the only African woman and clinician in the room, but I hung on and slowly learned the language of data to claim my space in this field. In 2019, I was awarded a L'Oreal Women in Science Award for my proposal to establish a genomic medicine research group at UCT's Neuroscience Institute. This pivotal career milestone arrived just as my daughter did, at 2 weeks old. Now, to build the lab I dreamed of, I needed long-term, high-value funding, the kind that's hard to find and fiercely competitive. So I decided to apply for a Wellcome Trust Career Development Award as a bold first step to build African leadership in genomics. Months later, I was shortlisted and flown to London for a nerve-wracking in-person interview with a panel of world-leading scientists. It was one of the scariest, but also one of the most defining hours of my life. After much suspense, I finally got the call. I'd secured 8 years of funding. My proposal, cutting-edge genome sequencing of African rare disease patients done in Africa by Africans for Africans. A bold local Isleka vision finally within reach. The Neurogenomics Lab started as a concept on paper, an idea with promise but no life. Now it's a thriving team of talented students, bioinformaticians, clinicians, medical scientists, and genetic counselor who bring our shared vision to life every day. In the Neurogenomics Lab, we perform DNA sequencing locally at Inkaba Biotech in Pretoria, And we analyze our data on ILIFU, the African Research Cloud. African DNA and data remains within South Africa, ensuring local scientific leadership. Now, reconstructing a human genome is like building a 1,000-piece puzzle. But if the picture on the box is European, it won't fit African genomes. And so we build African genomes from scratch, without bias, to capture the full complexity of African DNA. Rare diseases are so rare, you might find only a few cases in the entire world. We are the first site in Africa to join a global federated data sharing network, like a Tinder for genes, which helps researchers match patients with the same genetic variant. In the Neurogenomics Lab, we see genomics as a tool for justice, a way to rewrite the narrative and bring Africa into the future of medicine. For us, representation isn't just about faces. It's about whose questions get asked and ultimately whose lives get changed. Now, building Africa's genomic revolution isn't easy amidst funding struggles and ethical hurdles, but then a student runs their first genome analysis or a family finally gets a genetic diagnosis. These moments remind us why this work truly matters. For me, cracking the code isn't just about DNA. It's about the codes that define careers, identity, and who gets to be part of the scientific conversation. I cracked the code, but really, I just found my way home, back to science, to purpose, and to a continent full of possibility.
Yes.